not off to a good start. Alright? Mic problems right off the rip, so either this podcast was meant to be, or this might die, and I might have to grab the other one, which I have on the charger, so we'll see what happens. We'll just have to see. We're in this together, alright? But as I was saying, when I was so rudely cut off by the mic issues was, I had said, and I'm just starting this all over, alright? I was saying that I just got home, alright? And I normally say, I just got off work. But that's not true anymore because sometimes I have to drive home, like an hour and a half. So, I just got home, and yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
But I bet you guys didn't think I'd be back, huh? You guys didn't think so. With that last podcast I did, dude, I wasn't even sure I'd be back. Nah, that's not true. I knew I'd be back. Listen, I gave somebody a trial run in my life. Not a lot of people jive well with the way I live and the things I do and how I do things. Dude, I'm not gonna, that was crazy. I was gonna say I'm a specimen. That's what my brain was gonna say. But that's just crazy talk, alright? I'm just a human being like everybody else, right? I got my problems. I'm trying to be better. I work on them constantly, alright? But I didn't jive well with this person, alright? Whether it be me or them, I don't fucking, could have been both. Probably, I don't know. Dude, you know, with the way our generation does things and shit, dude, you never know what the fuck happens. You know, it's completely unnatural from the way we're supposed to be as human beings. So, like, everything we kind of do is against our biology and against the way we feel and the way we're supposed to be. So, nobody really knows what the fuck they're supposed to do or how they're supposed to feel, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, that's why I kind of spent a lot of time trying to think, like, this is a good way for me to think and try to formulate my thoughts. And I may not know what I'm going to talk about every time I come in here, but sure as shit, I'm going to try to think of enough things to talk about to get this podcast moving and going and make it feel like I'm just chilling with another homie and we're just having a conversation. That's how I want it to be. Because for some reason, I was blessed with the gift. Some people call it a gift. It's a curse sometimes. But I can think out loud in the way that you would talk to somebody else. You know? And it took a long time to get this muscle to a point where I could talk like this. And it's not where I'm just, I got a fucking vitamin in my hand. Hold on. Just had to make sure I took the right vitamin, right? It's a multivitamin. I don't know if it works or not, but I've looked it up many times. Because I don't just trust labels. You know, if you read some shit, it's like, oh, yeah, that'd be really good for me. But then, who the fuck knows, you know? You can't trust 100% of the things that are on the bottle, you know what I'm saying? But regardless of the fact, I could talk in this long form manner. And so I do. And it helps me think, you know? If there was no podcasts around and I was just doing this shit, people would be like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? I'm just standing there talking to a wall, you know? Like, luckily I have an avenue where this is kind of a normal thing. And I can just sit here and record myself. But I bet people were doing this thing, like, people were podcasting, if you will, throughout history, writing things down. Everybody always had a diary. Like, if you go listen to history or watch videos and shit like I do, they're always quoting people's diaries or things that were written down. People were writing down everything. Once they figured out they could, they're like, oh shit, I need to jot this down. Even if it wasn't important, didn't matter at all. They're like, oh shit, fucking, I ate 2 eggs for breakfast today. And it's like, who the fuck cares? But they wrote it down, you know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of Albert Einstein's work was. It was written down, you know? Before the internet and before you could text and type and all this bullshit computers, we just wrote things down. And before that, it was all stories, you know? I'd tell you, That's the craziest part about humanity, dude. We've gotten to a point where we could just share ideas. I could sit here and speak my mind and just talk back and forth like, hey, these are my experiences, this is what I've had. And then I could broadcast it to whoever the fuck listens to this shit, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, we had fucking, and I'm talking way back in the day. When I say back in the day, obviously I wasn't around. Nobody, that's why, that's a separate thought. Let's just conclude this thought first, all right? About when we were hunter-gatherers, right? We had like 50 to 100 people in our tribe, right? So you see like a deer running across the fucking savannah, or you see a giant fucking bear or something. That's the story, dude. That's all you got. You're like, holy shit, dude. Today, I was out fucking hunting, dude. I saw a fucking bear. It was fucking 70 feet tall. It was gigantic. Even if it wasn't 70 feet tall, who the hell's gonna correct you? They weren't there. There was no cameras. They didn't see the bear. They're like, holy shit, there's a bear out there that big? And that's how the fuck information and things got spread before there was any fucking form of learning online and doing all this shit or writing things down and reading a book. Before books and all that shit, dude, we were all just telling stories. And then that's kind of what the Bible started as, was just an accumulation of stories over time, written down eventually, after thousands of years. It took forever for them to write the Bible down. And then it was translated through a bunch of different languages, and now we have it as it is. And I believe certain parts of it. I've never read it myself, I suppose, so I can't say. I've heard stories and parables, and I guess I should read the Bible. I tried to read it one day. When I was in jail, I tried to read the Bible. But then I got like two pages into the book of Genesis, and I was like, boring! This shit's boring! I read a different book about like Nazis and shit. I forgot what it's about already, but I think you can go back and watch that podcast from when I got out, dude. At a certain point, February at a certain point, I got out of jail, and I don't know when the fuck it was, alright? I don't think that was this year. I think it was last year. I believe so. Because I don't think, no, I didn't go to jail this year, and I don't intend on going to jail this year. I don't intend on going to jail ever again. It's not a good place to be. You shouldn't aim for something that gets you in jail. You know what I'm saying? The problem is, we have a lot of laws and things that are not just, and we need to reform them and fix them, but we choose not to. And that causes a lot of people to go to jail that probably shouldn't. But the side tangent I was going to go on earlier was that sometimes I look at adults that are older than me as kids, and I look at myself as a kid. I just look at all of us as kids, to be honest. And that kind of results in me kind of I talk to them in the same way that they talk, you know, I have a lot of good and interesting conversations. Like I had a really good, interesting conversation today with this guy that was in the military, and he taught me that they have manuals for everything. You don't get taught that when they're recruiting, and I guess I don't know why they would teach you that when they're recruiting, but it's like, hey man, if I knew there was a manual to operate a tank somewhere, dude, I'd go into the military. Come on now. Like, I want to fucking read every manual they got. Just to fucking see what the fuck's going on and learn how to do everything. I would be all over that shit, dude. But I don't know, I don't know how I do with the authority kind of thing. If people are telling me to do something that I understand and that I think is a logical thing to do, I will do it. But if somebody just tells me to do something and I think it's dumb, I'm going to question it. Be like, oh, why do I got to do that? Or why do I got to do it this way? And they'll just yell at me, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll explain it to me. I don't know. Maybe I don't. I have no idea what I'm talking about right now, to be honest. I don't know how the military works. I just found out they had manuals today. That's the main point. But I have a hard time I look at everybody the same, because we're all kind of just kids. We live like 100 years, and some people have more experience than I do. That's a different thing. But age is kind of weird because age doesn't really mean anything besides your body's falling apart. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge in your head and the experience you gain throughout life is really what makes you intelligent or wise. And if you're gaining a lot of different kinds of experiences, then I think, well, that may be what I consider wisdom. I don't consider you to be wise just because you're old, but if you have experienced a lot of different things and you have accumulated a knowledge of certain things, then I would say you have wisdom. But I don't think that age really matters much. I mean, it matters in consent and all that shit. I'm not saying that. But, like, when it comes to, like, once you're past the age of, like, 20, if you figured out, like, how to manage your own mind and manage yourself, then you're not much different than, like, 100-year-old besides the experience and knowledge. And like me, I rapidly consume knowledge, and I try to talk to as many people as I possibly can just to gain their experience, gain knowledge, and just talk to people. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to talk to people. And I stopped talking to most people, to be honest, just because most people I had found aren't worth really talking to. Most people, and I'm not saying that because they're not intelligent or they don't have something to say, it's just most people are busy and doing their own thing, and you hitting them up out of nowhere kind of doesn't really do much, to me, at least. I mean, they may shoot you a text back, be like, hey, what's up, how you doing? But they're busy, they're doing their own thing. I kind of value in-person communication a lot more than I would consider over the text or over FaceTime or anything over the phone. Really, it's it's kind of pointless to me. Like, if I gotta send a quick message, like if I gotta tell somebody something quick, then that's a pretty good thing to do. I could just shoot them a text, be like, hey, I forgot to do this, can you do it? Yeah. That's all we need. If it's like more or less for like yes or no or affirmative statements. It's not for like conveying emotional statements of like passion or anger or anything like that, or love or nothing. I don't think so anyway. In my opinion, it's not authentic. It's not real. You don't feel anything. You're just looking at a screen, reading it, and it's fucking nonsense. And that's why I don't talk to people on the phone anymore. I haven't even been texting. I text my dad in the morning that I love him and to have a good day, because we've been, for a while, I think, for like fucking years now. I don't even know how long it's been. My dad and I have been texting each other to have a good day, and that we loved each other. Just because I started doing it after I started doing shrooms, to be honest, just because I started to think about, when I first started doing them, dude, I started to think about my parents dying quite a bit. And maybe some people would call that like not healthy mentally, like put me in a bad state of mind, but I think it was beneficial because most people don't think about it till it comes. And if you don't spend time with your parents, even if they're not falling apart, dude, I spend time with my dad every single weekend. I don't give a fuck what happens. If I'm with a biddy, no matter what I was doing, dude. When I was drinking, when I was fucking doing stupid shit with biddies, when I was doing dumb shit, all that bullshit. To this fucking day, I take Sunday every morning and I will go to my dad's house. And sometimes I'll go on Friday or Saturday. But Sunday, for fucking sure, I'm going to my dad's house no matter what happens, alright? It's kind of funny, but when I was getting drunk, inviting biddies over, dude, being dumb, I would Sunday mornings I would, like, so you bring biddy home Saturday night, right? You're drunk, you're having a good time, or at least you think you're having a good time, and then you fucking wake up the next morning you got shit to do. Like me, I go to my dad's house. I don't give a shit if you're here in my bed or not. I'm going to my dad's house. So I go take a shower. I'm a nice guy, man. Or at least I think so. I try to be. I go take a shower. I ain't trying to wake nobody up. I just hope that my movement and my presence and me taking a shower or being gone or whatever will wake the other person up. They'll realize, oh, okay, they're getting up. Maybe I should start getting up. If I have to wake them up when I get back from the shower, I'll wake them up. But it's like, I'm going to my dad's house, so let's get this shit moving. And I've kicked people out before. Like, hey, I got to go to my dad's house. And as fucked up as that sounds, I love my dad, man. And I love my mom, too. Sometimes she's a lot. And that's probably where I get my allotness from, is because she's a lot sometimes. I just get overstimulated, and she's a lot of stimulation, you know. Brings up a lot of shit in my head. And obviously, I'm going to go see her at some point. I'm not, like, avoiding her. I love her, but I see my dad all the time because my dad was always working when we were kids, so I never really got to know what kind of person he was and who he really was. And he's got his own problems, just like we all do, but he's a good dude, and I like him. I like hanging out with him. And I don't care if it sounds weird. Oh, you like hanging out with your dad on the week? Yeah, I do. Fuck you. Just because, who else am I going to hang out with? I got two friends that I call friends, Chance and Adam. That's why I talk about those two constantly, because I don't trust anybody else, quite frankly. I don't really like people. I love people. That's not true. Let me back up. I love people, but I can't stand people, like I said in the last one. And I'm not saying that with anger. I know I was pretty fired up in the last one, but that's just because I was dealing with mental shit. I was thinking a lot. I was pretty upset, all right? But I'm pretty chill now. I'm back. I've been running. I've been doing a lot of shit, sleeping. I've been doing shit. I knew I'd be back. That's why I only give people a week of my time. It seems like, maybe that seems like too little, maybe that seems like a lot, but I don't know. A week seems like a solid amount of time to me. You got a week to show yourself, your true self, because people put on faces. That's why I give them a week. I want to see how they act day to day, every single day. And maybe that seems excessive, maybe that seems like a lot, but I know how I act on the day to day is pretty consistent. I may get pretty upset, but I'll calm myself back down, and I always come back to a certain state where I'm calm and I'm alright, like I am now. For a couple of weeks I was pretty fired up for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm pretty chill now. I mean, I was worried about having a wife before, dude, and I still kinda am, but I ain't worried about that shit now. I want money. That's all I'm fucking worried about. Maybe that's fucked up to think about, but it's not because I want to, like, be rich. It's just because I know it can help. I know it can help. I know money can help. That's what my brain says. Money can help. It can help me. It can help other people. That's what I'm thinking. And you need it in this kind of society to operate. And unfortunately, I have a lot of shit that I pay for, and I'm getting fucked on a lot of things, so... And it's also my fault. I'm not saying that, oh, it's everybody else's fault. I have my own fucking responsibility in the matter. But the problem is, I was drinking so much before working at Winnebago, I didn't realize that I really didn't have I couldn't be doing that. Like, obviously I shouldn't have been doing it, but I could have. Because I did it, I could have done it. Obviously I did it. But I shouldn't have, and I couldn't have, really. In reality, now that I have the foresight and I have the knowledge and I look back, I couldn't be doing that because, I'm sorry, I'm spazzing a little bit. My brain's trying to, like, formulate this shit in a way that people understand, so it's like, but in reality, I have so many things that are so expensive. My truck payment, now I have repairs, which I knew I was supposed to repair a while ago, and I knew it was coming, so I should have been looking at that back then as well, and I should have been looking at a lot of things. But here's the thing. Life is best lived forward, but is best understood in reverse. I heard that quote one day. You don't know what you're doing until you do. That's the problem. So once you have the ability to look back on yourself and be like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was I doing? Because you put yourself in such situations that don't benefit you at all. They actually fucking hinder you and hurt your success. And you don't see it at the time. But a lot of people do it. We all sabotage ourselves in certain ways. And it's not good. It's not good at all. I still have fucking certain ways I sabotage myself. But I'm still working on it. You know, it's a constant grind. But you actually have to be physically and mentally and spiritually working on it. You can't just say you're working on something. A lot of people want to do that. They just, oh, I'm working on that. I'm working on this. I'm a work in progress. I don't give a fuck, dude. You haven't shown me anything. That's why I give people a week too. Because maybe you have one day where you're feeling a little sad or feeling this or feeling that. But I'm going to give you the rest of the week. Alright? And if you spaz on me in a certain way, I ain't talking to you anymore. It's that simple. I don't have to talk to nobody. And that's why I was so upset. It was because I'm like, I wasted my fucking time. I had nobody to blame but my fucking self. I wasted my own time. And I knew I was wasting time. During the entire thing, I knew I was wasting time. I knew I was doing stupid shit that I shouldn't have been doing. But I did it, you know, and you learn from your experiences. And now that I fucking am out of that experience, and now that I'm back to a level state of mind, money. I just need to work. Fucking Adam and I posted last weekend, we fucking went and laid somebody a fucking driveway. All that shit was dirt. If you look at the fucking second video that I'm packing all down, all that shit was dirt. And it was fucking huge. It should have been, Adam quoted it probably like a $2,000 job if we got paid. But we just do shit for this guy because he's good to us, so we're good to him, you know, and we help him out. But we did that, and I was just focused on money. Adam pays me. That's what's cool about Adam. Adam doesn't have to pay me, but that motherfucker makes so much money, he doesn't mind throwing 40, 50 bucks somewhere. He doesn't care. I made like $100 last weekend, which is kind of nuts to think about now that I'm thinking about it. But he's a good dude. That's why I keep him around, because that motherfucker is helping me aim up. He always has been. I've always looked up to that motherfucker ever since I was a little kid. And I used to think he's a unique guy because he's always been the same, but he's always also constantly learning. His brain's not staying the same because he's learning things, but the way he does things and the way he lives is always the same. He's making bank and he's fucking living. He fucking sold for a little while, yeah, for a couple of years, but even before and after he was selling, he's still making bank. That's the thing. Before, I remember that motherfucker mowing lawns, shoveling snow, raking, fucking selling candy. He would do anything to fucking make money. I thought his wallet used to regenerate, dude. It was insane, man. Every time I looked in that fucker, more money, more money, more money. And he's a crazy dude. And now he works like fucking 65, 66 hour weeks, dude. And he loves it. And then he goes and works more on the weekend. He's a wild dude. And that's why I look up to him. And the way he lives, he always helps people. No matter what. He's always helping people. Because he's in a fucking better position than everybody. He knows it. And he's humble about it. He doesn't fucking brag about it. I've never heard that man brag once in my life. He calls me to talk shit. I mean, that's different. Like, he'll be like, you got soft. He calls me to talk. Sometimes we talk on the phone for like 30 minutes just talking shit, you know? And then we're like, oh, what are you doing? We start talking finally. But he never has been cocky. He's never been overconfident. He's never not been anything but humble. And that's why I respect that guy. Because he lives by Christian values, and that motherfucker will die by those values. And I could tell. Because no matter what's happened in his life, no matter what setback he's had, he oversees it and he gets through it. He never bitches and moans about it. He keeps his head down and he fucking grinds until it's over. That's all he does. It's fucking insane. And that's why I look up to it. Because I never had an example of that before. Yeah, my dad worked all the time, but I never saw money like that. Like Adam's money. I've never seen money like that. Because that motherfucker's always worked his goddamn ass off to get it. And that's why he has nice things. And he does the shit he does. And I need more people like that in my life that are trying to aim up and trying to improve themselves and get better over time. And that's what I meant by I can't stand most people. Most people aren't trying to do that. And it's not fucking I'm not hating on anybody. I'm not dissing on anybody for saying that. It's just most people want to be the same. And which is you want to be the same, go for it, but it's not going to happen. It's just not a realistic goal. We're changing over time constantly. Our bodies are aging, our minds are aging, we're constantly changing and morphing and adapting, but we're going to make maladaptions. And that's what all these mental disorders are, and all these fucking problems we have now are maladaptions. Physical maladaptions, mental maladaptions, spiritual maladaptions that are not good for us. And that's why we're being led down this fucking path. Where we're de-evolving. We're not evolving anymore. Humans are reversing back. That's why we look the way we do. We're turning back into monkeys, man, essentially. In our heads, we're monkeys. If you watch people and you look at them like animals, like the way I do, man, it makes perfect sense. Because we have habitual patterns, we do the same shit all the time, we think the same way, it's the same shit as like a dog. It's the same shit as a fucking cat. It's just we think it's on a higher level, but it's just because we have the ability to manipulate 3D space. I mean, I think cats and dogs could probably use a computer if you taught them how. Like from a puppy, I guarantee it. Not like how we use it, but they can get taught how to use like voice. I just remembered that I have all this fucking dust on me, dude. And now I feel like I shouldn't have this shit on. You see that shit? I'm breathing that in. It's not good. I wonder if my lungs are caked in silica dust. I hope not. My boss said you just cough it out, so. You probably do, I bet. Most of it, I'd say. I bet it's in my hair. Man, I'm dirty. People have been asking me about the mushroom coffee. I've heard good things. I've never tried it, but to me, mushrooms are good in general. I realized today they're basically a natural medicine for the mind, body, and spirit. For all three categories. Because they have a lot of mental properties, like some have anti-dementia and anti-Alzheimer's properties. Plus, if you're getting vitamins from them, that's going to help to strengthen your mind also. And your cognitive ability and your thinking. But then they have a lot of anti-cancer, antiviral, antibiotic. A lot of them have a lot of those kinds of properties. And so they're strong for the body also. And then they send you on spiritual journeys also. But then also, the opposite effect of that, they can do all these good things, but then there's a few of them that can just shut it all down completely. That's what scares humans. There's a lot of good benefits to them, but then there's ones that can just shut us down completely, so we're like, we're not going to fuck with it. But I'm very interested by it, especially by the intelligence that they have. They're very intelligent. Especially the fact that I watched a video about them the other day, and it was talking about the cordyceps mushrooms, and I've heard about them for a while, but the fact that, I didn't think about the fact that once they get into the insect and start to control their, because if you don't know what they are, the cordyceps mushrooms are mushrooms that they the spores go inside of an insect, and they partially grow, and they take control of the nervous system, right? And they control this insect to go to the top of a tree or something high. That way they can fully sprout out. The insect fully dies off, because what it does is it makes the insect grab on as hard as possible to wherever the surface is, and then it will sporulate after it's fully grown and fruited, and that's how it repopulates. And now they can't survive inside of us because it has to be a certain internal temperature that they can control, and I'm pretty sure that our body's internal temperature is too hot. But the fact that they can go inside of an insect and know exactly how to control its nervous system without prior knowledge of anything close to being that species. They're not that species. A mushroom is nothing like an ant. But somehow the cordyceps mushrooms knows exactly how to move this ant up a tree and go sporulate on top of that fucking tree. It doesn't make sense without some kind of intelligence there. You know what I'm saying? Because how the fuck does it know? If I were to go inside of a dog's body, just with my human brain inside of a dog's body, I wouldn't know how to control that fucking dog. I would not. Maybe I'd know how to control the arms and the legs, but I wouldn't know how to wag my tail. I wouldn't know I had a tail. And maybe that's why dogs chase their tail. That makes sense. But, like, seriously, I wouldn't know how to control a dog. I wouldn't know how to run. Like, I try to run like a horse, and I wouldn't run effectively like a dog, and I wouldn't hunt effectively like a dog. I wouldn't smell effectively. Like, how would you be able to smell with that nose? You wouldn't. You wouldn't know because their brain's based mostly on scent, and so they need a lot more smell. That's why if you notice a dog, like I watch my dogs and other dogs all the time, they're smelling shit constantly. They're constantly smelling shit. And not just big whiffs, small whiffs, like really fast. Like, they smell a lot faster than we do also. They can take in more smell. And that's why, like, dogs like bloodhounds have big ears, because it wafts up smell into their nose while they're running, and that's why they're so good at fucking smelling shit out. It's wild. But I wouldn't know how to control that. But somehow this mushroom knows how to get inside of a fucking insect and control it. That's what's wild. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Oh. Well, we goddamn. We're already 32 minutes into this shit. Oh my god, I'm sore as fuck, dude. What else is there to talk about? I don't know, man. We're back. We're gonna be doing a podcast like normal. That's all we gotta do. Cause I'm gonna keep grinding this shit. Like I said, all I'm worried about is money. I don't know if this is gonna make me money, but it could. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't know if it ever will, but it could. And I'm gonna do other shit. I'm gonna grow mushrooms, not psychedelic ones, because they're illegal. But I'm gonna grow other ones like fucking turkey tail and lion's mane and reishi and what other ones are there? Golden oysters. There's all kinds of oysters. There's the Shanghai mushroom or Shanghai or whatever the fuck there is, and there's the shiitake mushrooms. There's a bunch of different kinds that you could grow. And I could sell them as supplements, I could sell them as food, I could eat them myself, I could do whatever the fuck I want with them. And it's really easy once you know, I read a giant book. I'm ready, I just don't have the funds. I don't have money, dude. I'm working on it. That's why I work so much. Because we're working constantly. We're never going to stop until I'm not going to stop until I make enough money to help myself and help others. That's it. Because once I have enough of that, maybe like, shoot, I don't know. I guess I don't know. We'll see what happens in life, man. I hope I make a decent killing. I hope I do well. I strive for greatness even though it's impossible as humans. Because I want to be as great as possible. Just for myself. Not for anybody else. I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks at this point. I'm me, man. I know I look like a spaz sometimes. I know I say some fucked up shit sometimes. And you know what? What am I gonna do? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. That's all you can do. Are you working on it? If you're, you know what, that's the thing. If you're worried about me, you should probably be worried about yourself. Most people aren't worried about themselves and what they're doing. They should be. They should be worried about, oh, am I drinking too much? Am I eating too much? Am I doing this too much? What am I doing that's wrong? Instead of, that's a lesson. If you take anything away from this fucking podcast, you made it this far. First of all, thank you. If you could subscribe, that'd be sick. If you could like it, that'd be sick. It all helps. Boost this algorithm, dude. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it to be some fucking idiot, but I'm trying to fuck with the algorithm, and if you do that shit, that'd probably help. So just do that. But you made it this far. Don't worry about everybody else. Worry about you, making yourself better. And aim at it as a goal for everybody else. You want to make everybody happy? You want to fucking figure out how to help people and do your best in this lifetime? Figure out how to fucking help other people by helping yourself. And that's how you do it. Because once you've got your shit in order, people will see you've got your shit in order. And they'll come to you. They'll come to you for help. They'll come to you for guidance. They'll come to you for support. They'll come to you for all kinds of shit. And you just gotta be there at that point. You don't gotta fucking seek anybody out. And that was my mistake. I fucking spent so much time seeking people out. And it's stupid. It's an endless pursuit. And it never gets you anywhere. It gets you nothing but sorrow and defeat and disappointment. Because you've got to sit there and prove yourself to people. It's so stupid. Why would you ever do that? The only person you should ever be proving yourself to is yourself. And that is it. Whatever else anybody else thinks, let them think it. Because that's not you. That's what they think of you. You are you. You know who you're supposed to be in this life. And if you don't know, figure it out. Look into it. Look at other people, for example. Do I want to be healthy? Do I want to be a good dad? Do I want to be this? Do I want to be that? What do you not want to be? Do you want to be a heroin addict? I don't want to be a heroin addict, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to touch it. Do you want to, you got to figure out your goals in life. Figure out what you want to do. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing or what they think or how they're doing it. Fuck it. Unless they're a good example. If they're a good example, like, and they're older, they've lived more, that's why I like to look up to people that are older than me, because they've lived more. They've been through a lot more experiences. So if you listen to them and pick up on what they do and how they do it, you will learn a lot more than just hanging around people our age. And that's really, people our age they don't know shit. They may try to be cool, or they may try to do this or that. Nobody knows a goddamn thing. If you're fucking under the age of like 35, nobody knows anything. And even past 35, you're still learning. You may know a few things, but you're still learning. That's the problem. There's no definitive way of fucking getting all the information in life. Everybody's constantly trying to get better and constantly trying to learn. And that's part of life, man. That's just how we live. That's part of being human. It's the journey. And that's what I realized about this podcast is, if not anything else, it is definitive proof that I've changed over time and I've improved. And it is definitive proof of life's ups and downs in video format, if that makes sense. That's what I realized, because I was a little worried about posting the last one because I was fucking kind of pissed off. The whole thing. I was shaking, I was so mad. But, you know what? That's part of life. There's going to be days where I'm happy. There's going to be days where I'm sad. There's going to be days where I'm pissed off. There's going to be days where I'm fucking feeling amazing. But a podcast is still going to be done on one of those days. And it's just going to happen, because if this thing is truly what it's going to be, it's got to be that. You know, it's got to be authentic. It's got to be me. That's the only reason I've been able to do it for as long as I've been able to do it, is because this is me. If I was pretending to be anybody else, or pretending to do something else, I couldn't do it. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd hate it. I can only be me. That's it. What are we at here? Oh, there goes the fucking chair. Alright. Alright. I love you guys. Bye.